would call Franck Cohen to join me, because Franck has had a couple of interesting experiences in SAP. One is the fact that Franck runs EMEA for us as the general manager and president. And if somebody knows how to survive disruption, it's Franck, because like the last 2 years has been pretty disruptive from a macroeconomic perspective.
Thank you.
And Franck, welcome.
Shall we sit?
Thank you. So Franck, I want to ask you a couple of questions. One is, you meet with customers, CIOs, CEOs every day, pretty much every day, across Western Europe, across Africa, emerging markets, mature markets. What do your customers see are the biggest challenges, and how are they addressing them?
Yes, so I think for the last few years, we all know that the number one priority has always been to try to reduce the cost, especially the operational cost. And I'm pretty sure that this is going to continue for a while, because there are still opportunities to reduce the operational cost in many ways and to streamline the processes. So clearly, this is the number one priority. What is interesting is that the number two priority is clearly now improving the customer experience. And let me give you a couple of examples. Yesterday, I was visiting with Bill McDermott, Air France, and we met some executives. And we know that they are in financial trouble. So the first topic that we put on the table was Hariba network and how we can reduce their overhead cost by using our network. They stopped us immediately after 5 minutes and said that they suggested that they have done 700 million of economy in the last 3 years. That has been very painful. And that the strategy of the company, even though they are in a difficult financial situation, is to improve the customer experience, to be the best airline in terms of customer experience. Now, using Air France, I would argue that they have a long way to go. But still, it was interesting to see that this was their number one topic. I discussed this morning with one of the largest Italian companies, and they mentioned, I asked them about their 3 priorities. One of them was evidently improving the customer experience. And I think that this is clearly what is happening. I believe that when everything else is becoming a commodity, people are going to rely more and more on the end-to-end customer experience in order to differentiate themselves. And that's what Forrester is calling the age of the customer, which is clearly a situation where you have to reinvent yourself and reinvent the customer experience to better serve them, to better understand what they want, to understand each and every of your customers, understand where they go, why they buy from you, why they don't buy from you. And of course, trying to develop new specific solutions, specific services that will match 100% or even, I would say, exceed their expectation. That's what they call, again, Forrester is suggesting that customer-centric philosophy is not good enough any longer. Only the customer-obsessed company will survive. And I believe that this is clearly the case for us, specifically in Western Europe, where we cannot outsmart or outspend the guy, but we can clearly try to rethink the experience and build solutions that will be unique to customers. Another study that was quite interesting to read was suggesting that 86% of the people are prepared to pay a premium to have a better customer experience. So this is clearly the direction, I think, for the customers. And that has a lot to do with innovation. It has a lot to do with what is, IT spending today. Most of the investment from the companies has been into internal ITs, trying to improve the internal processes. Today, I think that the investment are going to shift to what you can call external IT, which is anything to do with how to attract, retain, and develop a better customer experience. And that will have a lot to do with, it's a lot more than just CRM. I think it has to do with predictive analytics. It has to do with digital marketing. It has to do with a lot of technologies that will allow company to develop a unique customer experience.
So if customer experience is one of the big priorities, how do companies balance between, to your point, cost efficiencies and innovation investments into topics like customer experience? How do they fund innovations when they are in interesting financial situation.
Yeah, so again, the thing is that if you admit that the budget is going to continue to be pretty limited and actually are going to continue to shrink over the years, the question is that how do you free up capacity and budget capabilities in order to invest and innovate? And that's why I think it has always to be a combination of trying to reduce the operational cost by rationalizing the IT landscape while you are freeing up capacities to invest in external ITs. You know, in average, our customers are using 50 different applications per billion euro of revenue. So if you look at the IT landscape that is creating, I believe there is still a lot of room for simplification.
Absolutely. Now, to do that, to do both, it takes leadership. You obviously meet a lot of very interesting and compelling leaders as a part of your day job. What are the leadership challenges the CEOs and CIOs and CXOs face on a day-to-day basis to do this, both front office, customer obsession, and managed cost effectively?
Yes. So that's a very interesting question because I think we can all accept the fact that we are living in a world of, we can call it augmented reality, right? Everything is very close to you. You know what is happening in the other side of the world. That's how your kids can play with another guy from Chile at 1 o'clock in the morning into a game, in a video game. That's how you know what kind of monument you have in front of you just by looking at your iPhone. So we're living in this world of augmented realities, when the technology gives us a lot more power, a lot more capabilities. We're also living in this world of when social means horizontal, right? So social is a possibility for you to be a friend of your President of the Republic. I'm not suggesting you want to be a friend of the President of the Republic, but you can, through this social network. And that is also part of what is happening in the companies. So in the past, you had a very clear separation between what is inclusive and what is exclusive of the company. Well, that is not the case anymore. Every single employee is part of many communities. Yeah. And the question is, do you fight that to try to protect and make sure that the guy is only working or spending his time with the people inside the company, or you promote this idea of for each and every one to participate to multiple communities to be more competitive? I think that is creating a lot of issues for the leaders on this new world because we need to move to augmented leadership the same way. For instance, how do you manage individual KPIs only if you believe that collaborative social works is very important for each and every individual? I believe that you deny the fact that the guy is part of many networks and you need to revisit the way you measure the performance of the individuals. So, in a nutshell, I believe that this augmented reality forces the leaders to rethink what it is to be a leader and what is inclusive and exclusive. And it's also forced the leaders to simplify. Because another thing that we learn from all the experience with the CEOs of this world, they want to simplify. They realize that all of that means a lot of complexity in many aspects, and that the best thing is to try to simplify. One said one day that any intelligent fool can make things more bigger or more complex, and it takes a lot of genius and a touch of courage to move to the opposite direction. I believe that in this world where we are, leaders who are the ones that are going to simplify and make things more crisp and clear for the people.
Frank, very interesting. If I can ask you a question about how you as leader are simplifying and managing this augmented reality, can you comment on what you do?
Yeah, so, first of all, I'm trying to get to this social media. I'm afraid I'm not a millennial, really. I'm a bit more than that. So I'm trying to get to this, to get to know that. But, I'm acting as an individual the same way. And I realize that I'm also using the same, principle. I don't know about you guys, but for me, book still means a book. I cannot use a book in a Kindle. I don't think I will do that anytime soon. So I buy books from the store. Now, the only reason why I buy from Amazon, just to give you an example, is because Amazon is sending me the book the day after. I hate their website experience. It's too many information. It's trying to upsell to you all the time. I don't like it at all. But the reason I go to Amazon is because Amazon is giving me the best experience in terms of I want a book. The day after, I'm 99% sure I will get the book. So you see this service that you get can actually offset a lot of things. Now, what do we try to do? I think at SAP, we have to do the same. We have to give you the best customer experience. And yes, of course, we try to have the best possible product, the best possible technology, but more importantly, we need to deliver you the best customer experience. And it's not only, it starts from where you browse to find the product, to make sure the marketing is giving the right message to you when you look for something. And it's of course not finishing when you do the sales cycle, it's finishing when you have implemented and you maintain your software for the next 10 years. And if we can deliver to our customers the best customer experience, end to end, I believe our customer will be more loyal and will spend more time and more development and actually most of their project or future project with SAP.
Franck, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.